Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that might be new here, my name is Sean. Welcome in, and a special shout out to my channel members as well as my current subscribers. Welcome back. So in today's video, I've had the request so many times, how do I make these wristlet key fobs? So these can fit on your wrist and you can hang your keys from them. And so today I'm going to give you a step-by-step tutorial on how to make these and how to embroider on them as well. Now, if you don't have an embroidery machine and you just want to make the key fob, you could still follow the steps in this tutorial. You would just skip past the embroidery part. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump into it as far as going over the supplies you'll need, and then we'll get started. So for your supplies, you'll need a iron. I'm going to use this mini iron here. I wouldn't recommend a heat press just because it could kind of damage your vinyl if you're using vinyl, and it definitely will. You want to be careful if you're using webbing. So you can either use webbing for this or you can use vinyl. So webbing would have it like this key fob. I use vinyl, and then on the inside it has webbing. So that's what the webbing looks like. But I'm going to do 2 pieces of vinyl for this tutorial. And then you're going to need some clips towards the end when we're putting the key fob together. And you'll need some Heat and Bond Ultra Hold. I'm also going to use my cutter here, or if you have a rotary cutter, you can use scissors as well, so we could cut down our pieces of vinyl. I'm also going to be using my 5x7 hoop, but you can use your 4x4 as well. And then you're going to need Teflon sheet and a heat resistant mat. And then you'll also need, either if you don't have a rivet press, then you could use these pliers. I did get these from Amazon. I want to say they're about $9 or so, $9 or $10. But they just have these plastic tips on here. So when you are pressing the key fob hardware together, they won't scratch and damage your key fob hardware. So I'll have everything linked below for you guys. And then last of all is going to be your key fob hardware. And I got these from Amazon. I want to say I got like 60 of these, probably for like $15. So I'll have those linked below for you guys as well. So now that we've gone over all the supplies, then we'll go ahead and jump right into it. All right, so let's go ahead and get our vinyl cut down. So I already had a piece of my Heat and Bond already cut out, and I like to cut mine in like 1-inch strips. And then my Heat and Bond, I do it just a little bit smaller or shorter than 1-inch. So but I'm going to do the vinyl in 1-inch strips. And then I actually just need to line this up because this is not even. So I'm going to cut this vinyl down, this one piece, a little bit. So give me just one moment. Let me get that cut down. There we go. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and just cut these in both pieces in 1-inch strips. And that way you'll know that they're going to be the same size and they line up when you go to put them together. And I am using marine vinyl, so this isn't like your regular HTV vinyl. It does have like some fabric on the back side, and then the front side is that vinyl texture. And you can get these in solid colors. You can get them with patterns on them. Like, there's so many options out there. I do get some of mine from Amazon, but I also get some from Marine Vinyl as well. And I'll have them linked below for you guys also. All right, so now we have our strips cut out. And so that's what you're going to have. Your strips are going to look like that, 1-inch thick. And then you could just double check and make sure that you're good and that everything lines up like that. And so we won't need the Heat and Bond right away. So that'll be the next step after we do our embroidery. So let me get some of this stuff out the way. All right. And so now, and again, you can use your 4x4 hoop depending on the size that you're going to be embroidering on here. And I'm actually going to grab my cutaway stabilizer for this. So I'm going to use cutaway, and I'm just going to use one piece of cutaway stabilizer. And just cut that down to size, and we're good to go. And I'll set that off to the side. So once you have your stabilizer, then I'm gonna also go ahead, and I want to make sure this is hooped up right in the center. So I'm going to follow the center point here and make sure I am good. And actually, I'm gonna line it up on my mat here too to make sure I have it right where I want it. So then I'm gonna lay that down, and I'm gonna embroider on the pink piece. And so I'm gonna put that right in the center, lay that down, and then I'll go ahead and put my hoop on here carefully without getting my fingers caught. And there we go. And it did shift a little bit, so let me lift that back up and move this over. Okay, there we go. So now we are good to go. I have that centered in there, and now I'm ready to take it over to the hoop. So then we can go ahead and do the embroidery part, and then we'll come back and do the next step. Now, again, if you don't have an embroidery machine and you just want to make the key fob without any embroidery on it, then this next step for the embroidery, you don't necessarily have to watch, but you can watch it just in case you're curious or might be thinking about getting an embroidery machine. But we're going to go ahead and go over to the machine, get this hooped up, and then we're going to get it stitched out. So let's do it. All right, so we are over at the machine now, and I'm going to go ahead and get it hooped up. I've already checked my bobbin. I'm good. And I'm going to use some white thread. I already have that on there. So we are good to go. So let me get this on here. And oops, I got it caught on the foot. So let me take that off and fix that. 1 second. All right, all fixed. Let me just make sure. And then my thread also came out the eye. So let me get that back in there. All right. So now we should be good to go. And let me make sure it doesn't get caught on the foot again. All right, so we now have that hooped up, and I'm just going to use some fonts in here. So if you don't already have a font, you can use something that is already in here. And I actually like this one, and I am going to select the small size and then resize it. If you select this, well, with the 5x7 hoop, I'll be fine. But if you're using your 4x4 hoop, you want to select the size small. Let me go here, and then I'm just go down here and select small, and then go back, U, and N. I'm gonna have so many keychains with my name on it, y'all. It's ridiculous, but whatever. Okay, so my design is right there. So then I'm gonna go ahead and actually size that, make it a little bit bigger. And let's see. I usually do about, for the sizing, about a 2.01 by a 5.2, maybe a little bit bigger. I'm gonna see when I do my trace if I need to make it bigger. All right, so I'm gonna edit in, and then I want to do a trace and see where it's going to trace at. And actually I could probably make that bigger just looking at it. Yeah, so I'm gonna go back and make that a little bit bigger. Let's try 2.31 by 0.60 and see if that is good. Okay, so that does look okay. So I'm probably gonna have to just move it down a little bit. Yeah, so I'm gonna just actually move it. Want it to go down. And double check. And out of all this is what takes the longest because you just want to make sure you have it lined up really good. Perfect. So that works. So I'm going to go ahead and roll with that. And then I'm going to hit embroidery. And this is only going to take 3 minutes, so not long at all. So I'm going to go ahead and let my foot down and let this stitch out. And then I will meet you guys over back at the table. All right, it's finally finished stitching out. It was really quick, a quick 3 minutes. And then I'm gonna go ahead and unhoop. Now just set this off to the side. All right. And so that is how it's looking. That font is really cute. I'm really liking that. So just a couple, actually like one stitch. I just need to cut. And let me get my applique scissors. Here they go. All right. And then there's just a few on the back that I'm going to go ahead and snip as well. All right. And that's how the back is looking, and then that's the front. Now I did already turn on my iron, so it is at, I got it at a medium heat. All right, and so now I'm gonna grab my other scissors so I can cut down my stabilizer. And this is a lot of stabilizer, so I'm gonna actually save this because I can use it for another project. Okay, so just trim that down, and I'll probably trim it down a little bit more once I get this kind of cut down. But I want to make sure I don't cut my vinyl, so make sure you're taking your time with this step so you don't cut your vinyl. All right, so then I'm gonna just take it from there and then just cut it down. And there we go. All right, so now we have our embroidered piece of our key fob. We have that ready to go. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab our second piece as well as our heat and bond. So now this one, this vinyl here with the print on it is actually a little bit thicker than this one. So I'm actually going to apply my heat and bond to the thicker piece. And I'm going to put it on my mat, and then I'm going to cover it with my Teflon sheet and then press. So I'm going to just line it up. And then I'm going to cover with the Teflon sheet. Make sure nothing moved. And then I'm going to grab my iron and then just start pressing and just slowly going up and making sure that that adheres. And you don't want your iron too hot for this. You don't want to put it on high. All right. And let me check it now. We should be good. Yep, we are good. And so just let that cool off for a second, and then you'll have that piece on there. And then again, just letting it cool off because it's a little bit hot. All right. And then I'm gonna just go ahead and peel the backing off. You could toss that, and so it'll be shining now on the back side. So you now have that adhesive. So then I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna lay the thinner piece down, and then I'm going to place my other piece with the heat and bond on there right on top, line it up, and then I'll put that right over that. And then same process. I'm just gonna apply that heat, and you don't want it too high because this is the part where you can actually kind of leave a print on your vinyl if your heat is too high. So make sure you have it like at a medium heat. And if you're using your heat press, make sure it's at a really low heat. Again, I don't prefer that you use your heat press, but if that is all that you have, just make sure it's at a lower heat. Okay, and then take that off and just double check. Make sure that adhered. Yep, and it did. And it's still a little bit hot, so I'm gonna let that cool off, but it did adhere really good. Now, at this step, so the next step, I'm gonna go over to the sewing machine so I can do like an outline stitch. Actually, I moved my other keychains, but I'm gonna just stitch around it just to give it a little extra detail. Now, if you don't want to do an outline stitch, or if you don't have a sewing machine, you can actually go to the final step, which is putting the hardware on. So I'm gonna take you guys over to the sewing machine. We'll get the outline stitched on, and then we'll come back and put the hardware on and finish up. All right, y'all, we are at the sewing machine. And for this one, I'm gonna just do a single stitch. That's all you'll need to do. And then I'm gonna just get this all set up and ready to go. Make sure I'm good, and I am. So now I'm gonna put my foot down, and actually I'm gonna start with a back stitch. And then I'm also going to position my needle down because I'm gonna pivot as we get to the corners. So then I'm gonna go ahead and stitch this out. And once I get close to that edge, this is where I'm going to lift up my foot and I'm going to pivot. I'm going to take it up just a little bit more. Okay, and now my needle is still in the down position, so I'm going to lift up my foot, and then I'm going to go ahead and just pivot. So I'm just going to turn it around, and then I'm good to go. So then I'll let that foot back down, and then go ahead and stitch straight across. All right, and then same thing, I'm gonna turn it back around and I'm going to pivot. And then just continue the process all the way around. All right, let's head back over to the table. All right, so let me get some of this stuff out the way. And so we have it all stitched out. Looks good. And so I'm gonna just cut off these few threads, just snip those off. All right. And then just so you can kind of see the threads, that's how it's looking. That's what I was talking about, that outline stitch there. And then on the back. All right, so now it's time to put on the hardware. And I know not everyone might not have a rivet press, so I'll use the pliers so you guys can see that step. But I actually got this from Cam Snaps if you were interested in getting a rivet press. All right, so I'm gonna grab my hardware, and another thing that I also use is some glue. And this is just to make sure that this hardware, you can't just rip it off, or if someone has a bunch of keys on here, that it doesn't come off. So I just like to put a little bit of glue in mine just to make sure, give it that extra security. And again, these pliers, I have them linked below, got them from Amazon. So now is where you're going to also need your clips. So I'm gonna just grab two. And then you're just going to fold it together, get everything lined up where it looks good. Make sure everything's nice and even. And I'm just lining up those two edges then. When I fold it over, once I'm good, then I'm gonna place one clip on each side, just to hold everything in place, make sure nothing moves. Okay, and then here is where I use the glue. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put just a little bit of glue on the inside of the key fob. And I'm just putting a little line across. And then I'm also going to put some right across the top where I have the ends lined up at. And this is just to give it that extra security. If my glue will come out, for some reason it is not coming out. Give me 1 second. Let me grab a pen. It just came out on there, but then not on here. Okay. So let's try that again. All right, there we go. And you don't want to put too much, because then it'll start leaking off the sides once you press everything together. So don't put too much, just a little bit. You just want to use it just for extra security. Okay, and then what I like to do is go ahead and actually, I'm going to take this ring off. It just makes it easier. And set that to the side. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up my pliers, put my key fob in there, just kind of get it ready. I'm not going to press it just yet. And then I'm going to take my actual keychain part and just line it up, make sure it is even on both sides, and then slowly press it down and move my fingers out the way. And then I'm gonna just give it a really, really good press. And that is it. Then you take your clips off. Now don't tug on it just yet. You still want to allow 24 hours for that glue to cure. But other than that, it is good to go. So I'm gonna go ahead and put my ring back on here. And that is how she turned out. So that turned out really cute with those colors. And I'm really liking that font. So that is how it's looking from the front. That's the back, and then the inside. And you can use glitter vinyl, glitter marine vinyl. You can use, they have different patterns, they have some with designs and logos and things like that on there. So there's so many options as far as your color choices. Again, you can use the webbing instead of just all vinyl, whatever you choose. So there's a lot of options there. So that is a step-by-step tutorial on how you make a wristlet key fob. And, you know, even if you're not going to say use it for your keys, I actually have mine attached on my purse, on the side of my purse, and looks really cute, just like an extra accessory or charm for your bag or something like that, or throw it on your keychain. So if you guys have any questions about the process, any of the steps, or any of the supplies, definitely let me know down below in the comments, and I will, of course, be happy to answer. But until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Check y'all out later. Bye.